Well, thanks for coming back. If you made it through the first one and you're here, so thank you. I appreciate your return. I wanted to talk about movies for a second because movies and before that television very much have entranced me and fascinated me and allured me to them. I worked in television in my career and I was a movie critic and all that. And I've talked to big celebrities and movie stars and genuinely talented people. I've talked to some of them too. And wanted to be a part of it for a very long piece of my life, but would rather not now. And yet I am still drawn to them. Movies are the most collaborative of the arts. And when everybody is firing on all cylinders together, there literally is a type of magic that seems to be produced. And maybe it's just the magic that comes with being able to alter your worldview or opinions or perceptions. But sometimes it feels like more than that, too. Like something is being contacted across and through time. And the best example that I can think of that recently is Sinners. Honestly, that sequence where the young, he's old at the end, but he's young in the movie. Bluesman starts playing at the club, conjuring up black artists throughout Africa to 1930s and beyond into the future, um, all at once. And it's a scene that shouldn't work, but it does. It's really mesmerizing, and you feel like it transcends time. And I think movies somehow do that in a way. Um, and I say all that as a preface to my concern that movies are inherently a dark art. And I will make my case as to why. Uh, I think most evidently and obviously, everything in a movie is a lie. Everything about a movie is a lie. So it's a form of entertainment rooted in a lie. The actors are lying, they're pretending to be somebody else. The story that's being told is made up, it's fiction. And even the images that you're seeing are fooling you, especially when it comes to film. Um, what you're really seeing is a trick of the light and speed in which the frames, one photograph at a time, pass by your vision. And there's a term for this. It's called the persistence of vision. And it fools us. When you see a movie, you think you're seeing movement, but you're not. You're just seeing a series of frames going by very quickly. And it's not well known now, but I remember from my days as a theology scholarship student at that creepy college in West Virginia uh, that when the uh, calliope, or pardon me, the zoetrope, maybe it was a calliope. I should have probably looked this up beforehand, but it doesn't matter because, like I said, I don't have, and I will not and do not have all the answers for you. I merely am trying to point you in specific directions where you can investigate and you can decide for yourself what's going on. Don't listen to me any more than you listen to CNN or, well, you know what? I'm not trying to make any money on this, so maybe do listen to me a little bit more than CNN. They're only in it for the money. It just should be clear. Um, and perhaps never mind. We'll get to that maybe some other day. Um, but anyway, when the calliope or the zoetrope, and that was a toy, it was a circle, and you would have a candle in the behind it, and you would spin this device, the zoetrope or the calliope, um, and it would be a series of drawings that, when moved very quickly, every drawing would be a bit of a progression in a movement, like a guy on a horse, let's say. It's a drawing of a guy on a horse, And in each drawing, the horse is moving a little bit, and the gentleman on top is perhaps whipping it onward or pulling on the reins a little bit. And when all of the things go around, it looks like a man is literally riding a horse. That was the very first example of persistence of vision being moved to trick the human eye into thinking that movement was taking place. Now, when this calliope or zoetrope, which I should have looked up to try to remember the name of, but whatever, was created, there was a big debate within the Vatican about whether this new toy or device was evil and perhaps from the devil because it was tricking the eye. It was a lie. There was no movement. It was merely the perception of movement through your eyes as you were fooled. So there was a cardinal or some guy inside the Vatican who was like, we got to outlaw this. It's evil. It's going to lead to no good. And there was a big, I don't know if it's called a conclave because there wasn't a new pope. It was just an idea. And they talked about this, and they ultimately decided, no, this calliope or zoetrope is not evil. We're going to let it go on. And the funny thing was, or maybe this isn't funny at all, uh, like this, I'm not going to say it was commonly known, but it was known. I mean, I heard about it in my theology class, and I had read about it in a couple places, and then years later, when I was reading this, which everybody should read, this is a book called Flicker. It's a novel by a guy who's dead, Theodore Roszak. He's an excellent writer, but I'll tell you something. There is more truth in this book about what's really going on in Hollywood than any other book you will find. And it's hidden in fiction. And they do that a lot because if you were to say it for real, I'm not going to tell you they'd kill you because maybe they wouldn't. There seems to be a lot of people who are operating around without getting killed anymore. But you'd put them on your radar. I mean, I don't know what they do to you. Maybe if you don't know Jesus, you do get killed. I don't know. Not for me to say. And I'm not even interested in trying. But what I am interested in saying is that when the zoetrope or calliope was created, there was much discussion about whether it was inherently evil. And I think years and years later, I think we need to decide that, yeah, it was inherently evil. And I think movies today, or movies maybe forever, back me up on that. I mean, they're still lying to you. You're not really seeing movement. You're being fooled into seeing movement. A lie is fooling you into seeing movement. The people that you're watching telling you these stories, they're not real. They're lying. Not just on the screen. I mean, they're lying to you about everything. Everything. Their lives are monstrous. Monstrous. I've been out there. And I've only seen teeny, tiny bit, and that was enough to let me know that this was not for me. It's not for me. But it's still seductive. It was still very seductive. So I think it's possible that film is just a dark art, and inherently so. And part of that darkness is what makes it so seductive because we like being lied to on some level. So that's it on the movies. I'm not saying boycott the movies. I'm certainly not going to be. But just keep in the back of your mind that it's bad. Like the roots of it are bad. Doesn't mean something good can't come out of it from sometimes, and God's good at that, taking darkness and turning it to light. In fact, we're better at that than the reverse, although there certainly seem to be more diligent at it. Anyway, where am I? Almost 10 minutes. Let's go. Enjoy the movies, but don't trust them. In fact, trust nobody, not even me. Thanks. Bye.